Hey guys, it's right after the Ucommerce 9 webinar, which went swimmingly. I figured I'd give you a summary of what we discussed during the webinar, just in case you didn't actually make it to it. So one of the big points of the webinar is that Ucommerce 9 is the largest release we've done since V1 of Ucommerce. So it's a very big deal. You have a lot of stuff to look forward to. One of the really cool things about V9 is that it was driven by a lot of feedback from partners, and two primary things were our focus for V9, which is performance, API performance. So we make sure that we create really fast solutions for you guys using our APIs. And the second is that our UIs were starting to look a little dated, so an update to the UIs to make them faster, more seamless, basically more of a joy to use. So for the performance bits, Project Bolt is what we codenamed our new API, and basically what we've done is we've massively sped up the new API. So now we're able to create solutions that where queries are basically executed in 20 milliseconds or less. And during the webinar here, I was able to show examples of Avenue Clothing, which was ported to Bolt APIs with 1 million products in it, which is super cool. Displaying pages in less than a second, so really stellar performance. I'm very, very happy with the work our Bolt team did on that. The key to making it so fast is that we're starting to move data out of the SQL Server and into indexes. So all the APIs are driven by search technology. Lucene for the first version of Ucommerce 9, and we will add additional search providers to the mix, so you can choose your favorite search engine over time. So we'll ship at least 2, maybe more, we'll see. But for now, the performance, even with the default simple search provider, is pretty amazing. I'm very, very happy about that. For Kondo, our new UIs, the focus was basically to move Ucommerce onto a more modern web stack. So we're re-implementing every UI using Vue.js to make sure it's faster and more sort of responsive to merchants using Ucommerce to maintain their stores. And we're also refining some of the workflows that we tend to see in the platform. So we're shipping with V9 2 new apps: the Catalogs app and the Products app. And the idea there is to basically focus each app more on the task that they're designed for. So the Catalogs app is actually created to build catalog structure up very fast, and it's the main focus of that app. And one of the really cool things that I quite enjoy about the Catalogs app is the new navigation that we have, where instead of navigating in a tree like what you've been used to for a long time, navigation is now horizontal instead. So you sort of navigate from one catalog to the next. It's quite efficient. You can use the keyboard to do it, so it's quite a cool thing to just use the arrow keys of the keyboard to navigate a large catalog structure. The Products app is quite interesting, because what we're trying to do with that one is to emphasize the fact that products don't actually live statically within a category. Products are really separated from the catalog structure and live their own life and can then be added into the catalogs where it makes sense. And so the Products app really brings that to focus, in that you're editing products with no structure really. So you just find the products you're interested in and you start making changes. Quite cool stuff. Everything is fast, everything is fluid, and it works with lots and lots of products in the backend. There are lots of little refinements everywhere that just makes Ucommerce 9 a joy to use. It's important to also mention that revamping the UIs of Ucommerce is quite a large task. So it's not like we can't really ship everything in one go. So we're shipping new apps as they become available. And the focus for the first release here with V9 is to revamp the catalog system. So most of the UIs for our catalog foundation have been revamped. A little bit missing here and there, but we'll do a fast turnaround on the missing bits. So V9.1 will contain the last bits, prices, and adding a product to categories, basically what's missing in there. One of the other cool things that I emphasized in the webinar is the fact that that migrating to Ucommerce, even though it's a completely new API, is not so difficult as we initially expected. So because most solutions these days are built using an MVC architecture, we had an assumption that it would be sort of okay to migrate to Ucommerce 9, even though the API is new. However, in our own work, when we ported Avenue Clothing, our demo store that you're probably familiar with, we found that it was actually easier to port than we expected. So, and in many cases, it actually became, the code became simpler. So there are some examples of, a query that basically brings products onto the homepage. And having those two queries side by side, it's interesting to see that the old query was actually more complicated to write than the new one. It was also slower. So basically what Bolt does is it makes the queries much simpler and faster, much faster. So it's kind of nice to see those two wins. The last bit that's important here is the fact that we needed to push the release a couple of weeks due to the COVID-19 situation, the coronavirus. So we haven't been able, unfortunately, to work as efficiently as we would have had we all been at the office. So we're pushing the release to April 15, at which point both Bolt and Kondo will be available as part of Ucommerce 9. We have a whole roadmap for the rest of the year. Lots of interesting stuff. We're going to ship another provider for Bolt, so basically to enable scaling across multiple servers. It's going to be really cool and seamless. So if you start work on Ucommerce 9 with the Lucene provider, you can seamlessly swap in the new scalable provider. Most probably will be based on Elasticsearch, but we need to ask our partners what they prefer. So stay tuned for that. And we also have a bunch of things for Kondo. We need to revamp the rest of our UI. So next bit will be Marketing Foundation, and then it will be orders, and from there we should be done and we can start to create all new stuff. So I'm quite excited about Ucommerce 9. It is our biggest release since V1 back in 2000 and 8 these days. It's been so long. So there's a lot of stuff to look forward to. Bolt will make your solutions super fast. It's not that difficult to actually port your solutions to Bolt, and Kondo will definitely put a smile on merchants' faces. So I can't wait to get this in your hands. I think you're really going to enjoy it as much as we've enjoyed building it for you. Thank you very much. And by the way, remember that we did a recording of the webinar. So if you do want to see the entire thing with the demo and everything, go ahead and check that out. Thanks so much. Have a good one.